Hello, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank the Indieway family for inviting me as a speaker. Also, I would like to thank to my own company, Mildmania. Today, I'll talk about this change from hyper casual to the other segments and as well the challenges that we face with. So I'm going to talk around 30 to 35 minutes. Let me shortly introduce myself. For 2 years, I work in the area of project management. Now I focus mostly on the gaming, and now I work as a product manager at Mildmania. I am less experienced comparing to other speakers, but still I'm a speaker here because Mildmania has shown a great actually jump in this switch, including the onboarding and as well the product management. Very shortly, let me talk about the company. Mildmania just developed hyper casual games for 3 years. We have been working with one of the best publishers of the country. We gained a great experience. As you may know, the ecosystem of the country, of course, is enriched with the hyper casual games. This is what we have done. As company, from hyper casual to the hybrid casual, well, what had happened? Hyper casual just that you do 2 to 3 months of iterations, and it's just like really tiring. So the team needed a change. We wanted to polish the work that we launched, so that's why we have transformed our company, and I am the product manager. So I know the challenges that different teams actually face with, and I'm going to talk about all of them. Let me show you very maybe shortly and briefly hyper casual and hybrid casual comparison. It is. So I'll talk about the ideation and the product and production and the test, the campaigns and the data. What did we do? What type of results we gained? Hyper casual just gives a very simple control. Without a very serious tutorial, on the 20th second of the game, you just show the whole content. This is how it works. However, hyper casual, of course, has some challenges. Like what? It is long-term engagement. It is. So you could see maybe really great results. However, it is very low in the long-term engagement. Of course, there might be some advantages too. There are testing and production processes. Ideas can be tested easily, and it is an advantage. However, in the end of the day, even the games that you scale, you might face with serious problems. In terms of monetization, it is ad dependent monetization because the games are very simple. It's free option is a segment that is limiting you, and in the long term, the profitability is low. How about the hybrid casual? What does it mean? Two different things are merged. Just to create a hybrid casual game, generally we bring two or three genres and their strengths, and we just make a mixture. Or the existing subgenres are added some layers, such as social feature or collection systems, or even a complex maybe game environment is provided so that we would improve the engagement. A disadvantage is that your production just shows 100% of increase. So a prototype is costly. So it is an advantage. And of course, we add multiple layers or to subgenres just for controls so that the game is really enriched comparing to the hyper casual. So we have a simple core with mid-core elements. We do have it. Even a match-free can be a hybrid casual, but the simple core can be enriched with the mid-core elements comparing to the hyper casual. Instead of a monetization strategy, there is an in a purchase layer. So that the monetization would be easier, and we try to just create a long-term profitability. And then what happens? A higher retention and a playtime are gained, and with the help of that, LTV metrics are improved. Well, I wouldn't go into the details, but just let me talk about what do we do as a team. The first phase is ideation, hyper casual ideation. Well, they focus on the CPI movement, how to gather the low CPI. So, hybrid casual experience started with Udo. We add a lot of actually details because during the ideation, um, it has to be scaled, and we need a strategy and all. So these are like two subgenres. Just think of the clicker games. Comparing to some subgenres, that is easy. Low CPIs and users you can get, but in a long term, it is a little bit challenging and problematic. Idle has a great potential, but especially recently, finding a low CPI is quite difficult. What do? We have a subgenre, and we just get low CPI, and this clicker game just becomes more ideal, so that a higher retention and a higher playtime are gained. And this is a great advantage, by the way. So when we look at the previous games, we just get a really enlarged ideation perspective, and also we just add metas and just offers a gaming experience. Well, decoration, customization, adding secondary currency, creating a collection system, or maybe adding a building system. You just enrich the game so it is multi-layered experience. This is the advantage coming. But for you to think it, you need to be really prepared for the ideation and you need to just spare longer time. Monetization layers are taught as well. Together with Udo, we just carry out some ideation processes and we just question how to monetize it. Yes, there are, of course, ads. However, we need to just create in a purchase, which should be sustainable. So we generally don't continue with the production. Sometimes you add a game or you would add maybe some in-app purchases and you should just think about its impact to the economy. Your references, of course, just go up. Their numbers go up. In hybrid casual, you can just catch some mechanics or you can internalize the flow of the games. The perspective still will be actually bigger. This might really push you out. Fun element are as well part of the ideation. The game should be fun. And we need to just offer it to the user. From hyper casual to the hybrid casual as the team, we really care about this. When we think of the production side, what do we say? Yes, we just create the games with the iterations of 1 to 3 weeks. So for a long time we did the hyper casual, and as well our team couldn't really create like the best maybe options, and it creates the motivation. I believe the teams just play an important role. So this is the important advantage. So what do we do in terms of source management? Well, for the hybrid casuals, well, there is only one developer. So from, of course, game to game, it just shows a change. Because you have the subgenres and you just create a mix. And if you have a multi-layer structure, the workload should be balanced because there are some different situations, and in terms of the development also you might need an extra support. So this is what you come up with. However, without making a lot of changes, could you just go to the hybrid casual? Yes, of course you can do it by having the correct actually leads and as well directions. You can just make this transformation really quick. Multi-layered structure and source management. Yes, they are a part of it. You might have really great maybe transformation. You have to just sit and decide on one thing. And you have to do the prioritization, by the way. Which one you want to be prototyped. Well, it has to be like managed better because comparing to the hyper, it has a critical importance. So when we think of the art, it is a heavier content, but it has a really great and a positive return from the team. UI UX, I believe, becomes even more important. It is a complex game, you can support it with your tutorial, and you should really have a great UI assets. Here, for example, we have artists, we wanna just strengthen the muscles. I think this is also important. And on the production side, level design and economy, this is what we do. We want our games to be multi-layered. We want them to bring different mechanics. So, in terms of a level design and economy, yes, we should spend more time for this. And on this point, correct economy strategies should be created. You also have some advantages. For example, you might create a game in clicker that you can offer multi-layers in a clicker. So well, for 30 seconds, it can be multiplied to, or you can give some different comments. But the idle parts can offer rewarded idle loot packs or well, these are the other components. It will make you just let them to watch it more. QA processes just become dependent on more the documentations. So about QA, even if you do not have a team member directly, you still can be careful about it. Let's imagine that we complete the game, everything is ready, and about the creatives. What do we do? Generally, the core mechanics of the game is tested. Of course, Uda directs you. So just think of the CPI scenarios. It's really important to test the gameplays. One set and 5 videos it is. One more thing, hyper casual games, of course, are tested via the advertisements, but we started doing it for the hybrid casual for the first time, and I personally think that it might have a negative impact. It can really just steal from your timing.
So let me talk about this in terms of hybrid casual. With the beginning of this year, maybe the beginning of this year and the end of the previous year, we created such games, and it is more fun in terms of prototypes. It's more satisfying, it looks better, it makes people play, and they're more attractive. So this brings about an advantage, maybe an attraction. And as I said before, as a team that has been doing hyper casual for a long time, maybe in a year from a programmer, you can have maybe 20, 25 hyper games. And in hybrid casual, when you transit to that, maybe it will be 12 or maybe 10, 15. But when he goes back and sees what he has done, he can say that it was more satisfying, and you might have more success because you develop some strategy a long time. So I can say that in terms of strategy, we really enjoy producing hybrid casual games. Maybe this is how I would wrap up. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. This was all I had to say. If there's no other question, maybe we can leave. I cannot hear you well. Question is inaudible to the interpreters. As we have a short time spending maybe extra time for UX, and as you do, maybe bringing it to a level of research can be challenging. But if you have a UX design, you can maybe think of it as a dummy user and question where I would look for it, where and what. As a dummy user, has it been complicated? And is there someone who's interested in UX, and have we had them try it? Maybe the UX design in which we don't have what we want. Maybe not the very thing. There's, let's say, there also an upgrade button, and what kind of an layer you can add. Maybe you can say that if my money is enough, it should look green, or maybe uh, an exclamation mark could appear, or if my money is not enough, it can remain gray. And as I said before, with events that we add along the testing phase, we can do that. If the upgrade button is tapped less, or maybe if throughout the progress, if the update is not done sufficiently, maybe the UX is not that much successful, we can say. But the user can go to it as much as they have money and upgrade accordingly. Then they can say that your design is rather better. And this is the strategy we follow, I can say. Any other question? I guess not. Okay, then thank you very much.